Morning. It's going to be warmer today, that's for sure. But let's uh, let's check the temperature and just see what it is this morning. What's the temperature in DeLand, Florida?
In DeLand, it's partly cloudy and 52, with partly sunny skies and a high of 69 in the forecast.
That's a lot better than it was yesterday. Even it wasn't bad yesterday. It was still chilly. There's my partner Cassie. She likes the live stream too. She hangs right with me. No, we're gonna do the same thing we did yesterday. We're gonna go back out to our flying field, and I haven't been out get out much there in the last week or so because of all this cold weather. And I thought I'd pop on this morning, do a quick little live stream morning chat. And the uh, the government is still shut down. We have no government. That just cracks me up. There are a bunch of clowns up there talking. They're one blaming the other, and they're blaming the other, and this one blaming that one, and it's because they're all a bunch of clowns. It's the only thing I found yesterday, the military is still working. They don't get paid. They might. Hey, good morning, Lady Scarlet. How you doing? But I think the military should be paid regardless. They're out there working. They should be paid. I don't care what the policy in Washington D.C. is. So, Lady Scarlet, you're an early bird. I glad to see someone gets up early. I'm always up early, and like to see people hop on into the chat this morning. Where are you from? Of course, we're down here in Florida, and we cry about it being a little bit chilly. So, anyways, I don't know how long. Arizona is it an insomniac? I don't think so. Insomniac in Arizona. What's your temperatures like out there? We're just getting over our little stupid cold weather front. It's supposed to be in the 70s today. I'm not sure. I know tomorrow they're saying we're supposed to get back up to 80. Um, I I like warm weather in the 60s. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. You can't beat that kind of weather in the 60s. Oh, we're just watching. They had a monster truck rally over here in Orlando. It's going on. That's fun. I used to go to those up in Ohio. I used to go up to them in Cleveland, and they were fun. Of course, up in Ohio, you get anything you could to get outside because it was so cold, nasty. You stood in the house most of the time. But yeah, we used to go to monster truck jams up there. Anything that had wheels on it that I could go to, I would go to that. That was my sport. Any motorsports, motorcycle racing. That's the kind of things that I always enjoy to still do. And we get a lot of here. I mean, I'm just down the road from Daytona International Speedway. Actually, like I don't know, the next week I think we got the 24 hours of Daytona, and then we got the Daytona 500 coming up. We get the motorcycles come in here in March, and around the middle of March we have Daytona Bike Week. We get I don't know about a million motorcycles. They're everywhere. It's pretty cool. We have a motorcycle that we'd like to get out and see some events. They got vendors all over the place, and it's a cool event. If you're around the Daytona area in March, uh, stop over and see the Bike Week. It's pretty cool. We have one in the spring. We have it, or no, in the fall. In the fall, and it's called Biketoberfest. Oh, so you're just moving there. You want to see some NASCAR races near Phoenix? Yeah, they had the NASCAR races there in Phoenix. There, I'm not sure. I think maybe twice a year they have it there. I think maybe in the spring and towards the fall they go to Phoenix. Um, we get just two right here at Daytona. Um, we always have the Daytona 500. That's the big one for the year. And then at 4th of July, we have the race. I always kind of thought they should have the last race of the year at Daytona in the first race, and they don't. I don't know why. To me, it just seems like it would make a lot of sense to have the first one and the last one here at Daytona. NASCAR started right here. They've got the what do they call it, Starship, I can name of that motel over there on next to the ocean. That's where they formed NASCAR. They just recently rebuilt all that motel there and reopened it again, so it's back up running again. Um, of course, they started the races down here on the beach, um, down by Ponce Inlet. Basically, is where that was at, and they would go down A1A and then out onto the sand and race up through, and then back out to 1A1A. I would never say that right. But yeah, they would have the beach races down there, and there's a restaurant down there. It's called the North Turn, and that's where they used to come back out onto the road. And it's a pretty cool little restaurant right there on the beach, and nice little place to stop in. So, ever in this area, that's another good place to visit, the North Turn restaurant. Um, a lot of neat things down in the Ponce Inlet area. Actually, a lot of people don't realize when they say they started the races in Daytona, it actually was in Ponce Inlet. Ponce Inlet is right down the way the land sets here. There's a lighthouse down there. At Ponce Inlet is where is an inlet from the ocean into the intercoastal. And when you go down to Ponce Inlet, you can't. It goes down and the road stops. And just on the other side of the inlet is New Smyrna Beach, and same way on the other side. So you have to go. Actually, I don't know how many miles it is. It's probably at least 15 miles. They go all the way up around and all the way back down to New Smyrna and back to the other side there. So there is a little ferry boat, I think, that runs back and forth across there. If you're at Ponce Inlet and want to go to New Smyrna, you can take that little ferry boat or little trolley boat back and forth across there. But that's a beautiful area to visit down here. It's Ponce Inlet, but it's a little quaint town. It's not there is condos there. When I first moved down here, there was no condos down here, but there is quite a few condos there now. But it's still a nice little quaint area. There's a little place called Inlet Harbor down there. I said I didn't know that NASCAR started down there. How do you guys fare in Irma? Oh yeah, Irma hit. We're just outside of Daytona here, and the eye went right directly over top of us, and did okay. I had a big tree at the end of my house, came down and went over and landed on my neighbor's house, but luckily the way it came down, it just barely laid itself over onto my neighbor's house and really virtually did no damage. It was amazing. We cut it all up and it's all gone now, but that was the only real, yeah, that's lucky, isn't it, Lady Scarlet? That's crazy. But yeah, lucky that was the only damage that we had this one. Now, the year before, Matthew came through, and Matthew did take our roof off, and we did have to get a new roof on it. But Irma was strong. I've been through quite a few hurricanes, been down here for about 20 years, and Irma was blowing hard. We hit. I figured that the morning on I got up, I looked outside. We figured we was close to 120-mile-an-hour winds, and the trees was just blowing sideways. The rain was actually looked like it was blowing straight up, and it was crazy on it. But yeah, Irma was probably the strongest one that I seen. But the weird thing, it seemed like Irma did less damage than Matthew did the year before. Matthew, just up here at Flagler Beach, the road, A1A, in fact, it completely took out the road. It washed it completely out. And I figured when Irma came through just a year later, they had gotten it fixed. They fixed it really fast. I figured it was going to be gone again, but it didn't. It really spared it again. But that's a big problem in a lot of this area up here is beach erosion. Even we had a storm here a few weeks back. It was getting a lot of high surf, and it was doing a lot of beach erosion. And you live out along the beach like that, you you get a lot of erosion. The little doggy likes to chew on herself. And so that's just one of the things you deal with living on the beachside, plus high taxes. I can't imagine the taxes over there on beachside. They got to be really pretty high, you know. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's some, living in a beautiful coastal area has a lot of benefits, but then again, there's some things that kind of aren't so good either. Um, High taxes and the weather issues, and even our insurance whenever they have a tropical storm or a hurricane, our insurance has a high deductible that kicks in. It's something like a $3,000 deductible. So any damage that you have that's under $3,000, they don't cover it. Um, Even if you have, like, say, our roof last year, um, they gave us part of it, and they even actually have a little scam they do with these insurances. You turn it in immediately, they knock $3,000 off of what it costs to replace it, and then they come up with this little thing. If you have it repaired within 90 days, they withhold like another $1,200. And well, if you go ahead and get it repaired within 90 days, then they refund that $1,200. So instead of 3,000, now it's $4,200 deduction that they take out. Um, Now, if you've ever been after a hurricane in an area, you start calling around getting roofers to give you an estimate. You cannot get a roofer to even give you an estimate within 30, 90 days, And I what they say, they give you like 90 days to have it repaired. I could not get an estimate in 90 days. They're busy. They don't come out. So that's a little scam that the insurance companies have developed that, well, will hold this back. And they know that you cannot get anybody to get out there and repair your roof within that time period. So there's another $1,200. Yeah, that's right. It's bullshit insurance companies. Yeah, they are shady. They talk about insurance fraud. What you tend to do is you try to find any little damage you can to try to up your claim, because they're going to take away so much of it, and they'll claim that that's fraud. It's not really fraud. You're just trying to cover yourself. I mean, I had some broken windows that any tiny little thing I could find, and of course they denied all of it. The only thing they would cover would be the roof on it. But yeah, it's crazy. You pay high premiums and stuff there, and they find their way around to cheat you out what you deserve on it. But as life goes, being a homeownership doesn't always have all the benefits on it. Um, that's something I've actually even thought about over the years. I've owned a home for years, and about whether it's better to own a home or to rent. When you rent, you don't have to worry about the things of damage to homes by weather and all that. That's up to the landlord to take care of. But on the other hand, when you rent, there's certain freedoms that you have by owning a home that you don't have when you're renting a house. It's probably half a dozen, one or the other. Renting or owning. It's yeah, it's situational. That's right. It just depends on your situation. If you're gonna move different areas around and that, it's probably better to rent. You know, um, yeah, people turn houses for profit in Arizona. Yeah, that's they do that. I'm gonna give you a little situation. A house next door to me. I remember it's been sold several times since I've lived here, but the last guy owned it, he paid way too much. That was back when the housing boom thing was, where everybody was getting big dollars out of their homes. And he told me, he said, I'm going to walk away from this because I paid way too much for it. And that's what he did. And then all of a sudden there was somebody had moved in there. Some guy moved in there. And all of the neighbors were saying he was a squatter. And, this went on actually for 7 years. This guy lived there. And everybody kept saying he's a squatter. I got, how on earth could he be there for 7 years and be a squatter? Well, I guess what happened, and he was a squatter. The bank who actually owned the house, just I don't know why they just wasn't doing nothing. I guess they cut their losses on it because they loaned too much on a house that wasn't worth that much. And so one day seen the sheriff show up there, and apparently he evicted this guy who was squatting here. What happens after 7 years? The county has back taxes that's owed, and what the county will do is they'll put the property up for auction down at the courthouse. You can go down and auction on these houses. And from what I've looked up and as close as I could figure, that house probably sold for $7,000, which would be about 7 years back taxes. So they got the guy that squatted there all those years out. He lived there for nothing, and they got him out. Another guy bought this property for like $7,000, and immediately he come in there and they put a new roof on, new AC on it. They actually put a new well on it, and I'm not sure how much he put in it. Probably less than 100,000. I put it on the market for like $195,000 and sold it pretty quickly. And so he made himself just close to $100,000 profit. He spent maybe 2 months of pretty hard labor. I mean, getting it thing. He had it really tip top shape when he was done on it, but he flipped that house over. Made himself a clean $100,000. And he probably does that quite often. And you can do that. I think all over the country you can buy houses. Yeah, he's a smart guy. He was really that's just a great thing to do and make it. And that's probably what he does for a living too. He just flips houses. You watch these programs on TV. House flippers and that. Some of them are out in California, but they'll pay. I've seen them pay $250,000 for this property, and they're going to flip it. It's like, well, man, that seems like you couldn't, but prices of houses out there is quite a bit different than they are around here. So, it's just the way the price structures go. You can make a lot of money, say in California, you can make $50 an hour, but it costs that much an hour to live out there. So it all balances its same out. You can make $1 an hour if you can get by on living for $1 an hour, but it's just all within the balances of things on it. So yeah, that's pretty interesting on it. I've been here not quite 20 minutes there. But, I like to come on, but I'm going to get ready here. We got anybody's been on the channel before us. I fly RC airplanes, mainly racing quads that you fly with goggles. Put them on, and I can sit there and fly all over the place there like I'm the pilot inside. It's really a lot of fun. We have a flying club over in Daytona Beach, and I get ready and go out. I go out early. For one of the reasons I like to go out early because the wind is less in the mornings, and these things are really subject to wind. So wind's less. Our field's pretty popular. There gets to be a lot of people out there, and there's less people out there early in the morning. So I go out pretty early, and especially on Saturday and Sunday, I do that a lot. And it's going to be a pretty day today. I mean, we're going to be probably in the mid to upper 70s, so it's going to be a nice day to be outside. So that's my plans for today. I want to chop on and do a quick little morning chat. I'm going to try to keep on doing these. I just want to try doing it on a regular basis and just get in, have coffee, chat with people, see what's going on in their lives. Lady Scarlett, I'm glad you stopped by this morning. It's good to see from you. If you're ever on, if you hit that little bell thing on the subscribe thing, it'll kind of let you know when I'm gone live or put up a new video on it. And I've been trying to grow the channel. YouTube has kind of smooshed down the smaller YouTubers, and we used to monetize, and they give us a couple bucks for the advertisements, which is very, very small. But yet, a couple bucks would help. But now they changed it. Unless you have 1,000 subscribers, now you can't be monetized. And I already was monetized for like 3 or 4 months. And you make enough there to just, if you want to buy a little piece of equipment, it helps out the channel. But right now, I think I got 182 subscribers, so I got a long ways to make the 1,000. But they're going to cut me out of monetization, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people doing that. So, share my channel if you do that. Appreciate it. And hit the subscribe button. It'll help me out. It doesn't cost you nothing to hit the subscribe, And says, okay, it was nice talking to you. And so, Yeah, you got some homework to do. You're doing some college work, so you're busy on it. So I'm glad you subscribed and I'm glad you stopped by. Stop by again. So we're gonna get out here. We'll see everybody next time. Have a good Sunday.